Anti-magic in Black Clover has a uniqueness that I can go on and on about. Like literally, I could talk about it for hours. And if you're any of my friends, you can ask them that I talk about anti-magic in Black Clover, or just the concept of anti-magic for a lot of the time, and they get very, very annoyed about how much I talk about the uniqueness of the swords from Black Clover and anti-magic from Black Clover, and the character Asta too. But I'm mainly going to talk about the anti-magic, or you know, his power. Asta's power, and Block Asta too. How good it would be if he was transported into an isekai, or you could say, if you had his powers, how good would you be in another isekai? So anti-magic is basically like it just eats up anything magic related, or it just hates magic. So basically what would happen is if someone shoots a fireball at you, anti-magic, depending on which sword that you use, could basically throw it back or make it like it never happened before. So like the first sword, Demon Slayer sword, which is a sword that you can bounce back magic and slice it, which all of these anti-magic swords have a slicing effect where, they just slice through magic. The Demon Slayer sword's a very good sword because it can bounce back the magic, throw it back at them, and depending on how much anti-magic is absorbed into the sword, it can just slice through magic or magical objects and become like a very, very big slicer. Like Black Divider is a very, very powerful anti-magic spell. With the next sword, Demon Dweller, basically, we've seen Demon Dweller used with a lick before, and he could condense the mana and send it back. We have seen in the Black Clover series that he can steal magic from others or borrow magic from others and use it, Asta. So, it has a very good ability if Asta could use it. Right now, he cannot use it, but we have seen in one of the latest episodes, and we have seen in the manga, where he can actually condense the black magic and like throw it a long distance. So that sword is very, very powerful, and if you could use it in another world, it would probably be almost immaculate. Just imagine being able to absorb mana and like just throw it, or just having anti-magic in a sword and just throwing it at a long distance. That was one of the biggest problems Asta had, is he had to be up close and personal all the time for his anti-magic to work. But now, so that he can throw it or slice in the air and just, do whatever with it at far distances, he has become very powerful. And if you were in an isekai, if you could do that too, or if he was in that isekai, he would be very powerful, or you would be very powerful. The third and fourth sword, because I just want to talk about them both, even though the third sword is my favorite sword. The third sword being Demon Destroyer sword, where basically its greatest effect is it can make magic, even in a wide area, non-existent, because causality break erases the effect of magic like it never happened. It erases the cause and the effect. It's even so powerful that it can erase reincarnation magic, which is a very powerful magic. And the fourth sword, which we don't know a lot about, but it's Yami's katana, or now called Demon Slasher katana. It's a lot better if it was Demon Decapitator katana, but personal preferences there. One of the great things about the Demon Slasher katana, sorry about that, is compared to the other swords, it's a very, very light sword, because an actual katana weighs around 5 to 7 pounds, while if I speculate, the Demon Slayer sword's probably like 60 pounds, because it's just a big hunk of metal. So if you had those swords in another isekai, how good would they really be? Well, it depends on the isekai story, but let me talk about some examples. In a lot of isekais, from what I can tell, magic has a huge part to play in whatever the story has to talk about. Usually the overpowered character can cast 8 different types of elemental whatever magics, can toss magic here and there because they're super good with magic. A lot of isekais also have like the beast or the big beasts that are like roaming the earth. You know how we have our lions and our bears, where they have like their lion and their bears that are 4 or 5 times the size, and they're all made out of magical whatever. So if anti-magic was in one of those worlds, it would be phenomenal. You know, it would just like destroy everything. Now, I'm not saying My Hero Academia is a isekai, but if Asta would be going into the isekai of, or into another world that's like My Hero Academia, it wouldn't be that good. Anti-magic does not work against quirks, but you know, the character Asta would be good in the My Hero Academia universe just because he's big and powerful. I mean, in that universe, he can just like freaking leap in the air or just jump super far because he has a lot of physical, you know, capabilities. In another world that mainly focuses on skills and magic isn't the main thing, as long as the magical beasts are, you know, magical, Asta's anti-magic or anti-magic in general would be very good. The only problem that I can see it is if, you know, if they're like skills. If skills aren't magical, which in my opinion I would say skills aren't magical, because certain skills could just be like you can, you know, translate anything and everything. You know, that's not like a magical ability. You know, it's not magic. It's just a skill. Skills are usually inherited or like something you can gain over time, but you know, you have to work towards it. Like anything in this world, most things in this world, like art, you know, I'm not a very good artist, but I know if I spent 2 or 3 years of my life, you know, constantly every day trying to improve my art capabilities, I know I could become an artist, because it's a skill that you learn over time. It's not magic. So that's just my opinion. That's all I want to talk about in general. I guess if you're watching this in the video, congratulations and thank you for watching it all. If you skip through the video, I will just say the short version of it is yes, anti-magic would be very useful in most worlds. I would have to say the only drawback is not be able to use mana. I mean, magic does kind of suck, but if you can just nullify it, I mean, hell, that's the coolest thing ever. If you like this content, please subscribe. I will be making more content like this and other content about isekai, because I am indeed isekai trash. Thank you.